Entrepreneurs have to stop saying this is my baby. Is there any conditions to you loving your child? There are no conditions. A business is not that.
No.
A business is supposed to generate value. They say that, the divorce rates in India are so much higher than they were in our parents' generations. It's not because they had better marriages. It's just that the women didn't have an out.
Compromise.
Yeah, compromise, that famous word. We sell about 4 million copies in print every year. So if 4 million copies are being bought, someone is reading them. It's not being used to line the shelves. Reading is definitely not dead. The future is something you have to choose. So this whole sunk cost fallacy that, I have invested so much time already, hence I need to be in this situation. You don't.
Growing up, we had this one amazing friend who used to tell us lots of stories. And isn't stories listening really fun? And that was from the stories of Amar Chitra Katha. And they were the smartest ones, isn't it? And today we have this incredible Preeti Vyas, the CEO of Amar Chitra Katha, who is making sure these legendary stories never go out of style. And I am so excited to get into conversation with her. Thank you, Priti, for joining me today in our conversation. And I'm so excited because I think we are meeting after a long time.
So thank you for having me here. It's a real pleasure to be across.
And as we were discussing all our time together, I think the number of years we've spent, and me becoming the pure play marketer was with Depot at that time, with the Future Group. And I have seen Preeti, who's really full of energy, always rolling up her sleeves and really out there everywhere. It is Preeti written across when you are working with you. So where does this kind of energy come, Preeti?
So like I say, I think in Hindi, there's some kind of a kida inside me. I love life. I love doing things. I love trying new things. And I'm not a spectator. I don't like to sit and watch things happen. I like to throw myself in. And I think the only way you can actually learn how a business really functions or how a particular industry functions is if you throw yourself into where the action is happening. You can't sit in an office and try to control things from your comfort of your chair. You've got to be out in the market. You've got to be out on the field.
I agree, and that's where you really have to zoom in, and this is where today's generation want it fast, they want it quick, they all think life is quick commerce.
Right.
But I have seen your journey, Preeti, and you have done 0 to 1 4 times.
Right.
You built businesses when actually in that era where it was not a startup era,
right,
where people like us were still looking for stable jobs and large organizations, right, large designations, and those kind of ambitions, and you really went to the roots to do startups in 2 decades back or something.
Yes.
Where did that come from, where people were redefining norms already at that time?
So I think I'm lucky that I'm able to switch between being a corporate employee and be an entrepreneur almost with equal comfort. I think when it basically comes from a sense of energy, of ownership of things. So whether it's your own business or you're working for somebody else, it doesn't matter. If you own the piece of the world that you're in charge of or you're responsible for, the energy follows. It's that sense of this is mine and I've got to take care of it and I've got to build it and grow it.
So that's interesting. You've always owned whether it was working or whether it was your own.
That's right.
But tell us more about your startup experience when you were building, and you've done KidsTown and you've been in Depot, I think, some couple of 4 businesses.
Yes.
So have you had the similar experience of, creating, making them big? Today people sell businesses off, like they become all these unicorns, and those things were not there at that time.
Right.
So what were your dreams and how did you feel? It was not, this kind of infrastructure was not there.
Right. So I've always had that entrepreneurial energy.
School,
college. When I was in Australia, I was working 3 jobs. Again, I was doing independent tutoring and things like that. So I think one is to be financially independent was always a very important aspect for me. And then I always wanted to have my own store. That was my big dream, right? So this is around the year 2000, Meg Ryan's You've Got Mail, that movie had come out. I was in so very romantic, that you have this at the children's bookstore of your own, and you read stories to children, and
so that was your inspiration?
That was one of the inspirations, along with Sam Walton's Made in America, and Sam Walton opened his first Walmart when he was 26. Okay. So that was my kind of benchmark, that I should open my own store at 26. And I always wanted to see it the ambition was to expand it into a chain of stores. I worked very hard at it for 3 years. It was a profitable business, but it was very small. And I realized quickly one of the important lessons I learned was that in order to have a brand, you need some IP. You need something which is yours. If it's just a trading entity where you're buying and selling, it's really hard to scale up and make money. And so unfortunately, KidsTown in that sense didn't end well. It was very heartbreaking to have to close it down. But I was always very ambitious. I couldn't see myself being stuck to running that one store for the rest of my life. If I couldn't see it becoming a big chain, then I didn't see me giving that kind of energy to it. So that was KidsTown. Then, of course, Depot happened. And Depot was an amazing story because it was, I was the first employee of Depot and we built it from zero to almost 67 crores in about 4 years' time. And other brands like Crossword or Landmark had taken more than a decade to touch that 100 crore mark.
We gave them run for money.
Yes, absolutely. So that was very, very satisfying and learned so much. Again, unfortunately, the whole subprime crisis happened in 2008-9, and the management at that time decided to wind up all businesses which were doing less than 500 crores. So it was just, again, one of those unfortunate things. The third one was FunOKPlease, of course, which continues to exist.
Oh, it's still there?
Yes, very much. Okay. So when I joined Amar Chitra Katha, the brand, the entire content of FunOKPlease is now licensed to Amar Chitra Katha. Wow. So Amar Chitra Katha is an exclusive distributor of the books. And they continue to sell and continue to thrive. I haven't had time to do that much new work, but the imprint is live and kicking.
Still live and
kicking? Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Toto
the Auto. And we had the series on different cities, and I had the series which I created along with Penguin, which was Waka Chimney, which I wrote. So where I'm the author, that was the first experience of doing that. So I think it's just that joy, for me, that's the joy of creation, right? Where just starting from scratch, where nothing exists and then something exists, which is creating value and, generating revenue and generating employment and generating, some satisfaction or fulfilling a need for the consumer. That's the kick,
But see, this is brilliant, right? So you have been able to start something in a couple of years, quickly realize that I need to, detach. I don't see it going this. The pivoting that you can do. Today, not many entrepreneurs or starters who are able to pivot. They are stuck to their idea. They're stuck, and that's where they finally land.
So I was talking to at a group of women entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, right? And the host was talking about, and she asked me a question about, your business is your second baby. So I said, no, I want to correct you. Don't ever say that. Entrepreneurs have to stop saying this is my baby.
Correct.
Right? Your baby is your baby. Think of yourself as a parent. I'm a mom. Or ask any parent, is there any conditions to you loving your child? There are no conditions. The child could have some major disabilities or some issues. You will not leave any stone unturned, and your whole life you will devote to that child, right? There is no expectation of anything coming back.
Correct.
It's just that unconditional love.
Correct.
A business is not that. A business is supposed to generate value.
Yes.
A business is supposed to work for you as well. You are working for the business is supposed to work for you.
Right.
It's supposed to earn you money. It's supposed to give you satisfaction. It's supposed to satisfy those criteria.
Right.
So don't make it your baby, because then you're putting it in a zone where you will kill yourself. You'll burn out in trying to keep this going.
This is amazing. Treat it as a business.
Treat it as a business.
Yes.
It has to satisfy the criteria of a successful business.
Okay.
It has to be a brand which can, if you're doing a brand of diapers, it should be able to sit next to any other diaper brand on a shelf and succeed. Okay. Right? That's what its karma in life is. So, don't put this pressure of it, becoming a baby, because then your emotions get invested and then you can't be objective about decisions that you take. Decisions should be based on data points, nothing else.
But Preeti, is this a realization today after doing 4 businesses and running the show as a CEO, or you had this?
I don't think
you could detach like this.
It's not how they say that you can either learn through books or you can learn through the school of hard knocks. So I had to learn through the school of hard knocks that, I'm paying all the bills, I'm paying my staff, I'm doing all that, but I'm barely making 50,000 rupees a month for myself. And how long can I do this? And I'm working 24/7 and, I'm sacrificing so much, and do I see that future? If I see that future, I can do it. I can keep going, no problem at all. But I have to be able to see that, is this leading up? Is it scaling up in the right manner?
Awesome. So I'm speaking to somebody who's been a creator, who has the energy, who never gives up. And that brings me to the bold choices that you have made, Preeti. So what brought you to ACK, and how are you looking at
Yeah. So ACK came at a very important juncture in life. I started FunOKPlease in 2011, and it had been about 7, 8 years of running it. It was again publishing is a very difficult business to make money in.
Yes.
And after 8 long years, the company was profitable. I was earning money. It was doing well. It was growing. Again, not hugely profitable. It wasn't a really big number, but it was good. It was there. And personally, I was going through a really rough patch because, I was going through a divorce, and it was a really difficult time. And at that time, this opportunity for ACK came along. I wasn't looking, honestly. A random headhunter from Bangalore called me and said, there's a leadership position open and you have been identified. So I said, really? So it literally fell into my lap. And my first reaction was that, no, I have my own business. And I'm not giving up on it now. Finally, this is making money,
Yes.
I'm not ready to close it down or give up on it.
How many years you were with FunOK?
Almost 7, 8 years
okay.
at the time. Yeah.
Okay.
But it was also at the same time when my son was really young and I was supporting my ex-husband's career. So there was, FunOKPlease did not get that kind of attention maybe in the early years as it should have. But in any case, when this opportunity came along, of course, it's Amar Chitra Katha,
Yes.
right? It is one of the most iconic brands of the country. It is like an Amul, or it is really that, it has that value. And, how do you say no to something like that?
Through generations, we know. All of us have grown
So
on
it was
it,
just
absolutely.
incredible privilege to be, an opportunity to be a custodian of a brand like that. And as at a personal level, at a professional level, it was just something which was really huge. So then we figured out, a solution where I didn't have to close down FunOKPlease and keep it going without any conflict of interest.
So nice. So you could take it along.
That's right. That's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
Very nice.
So it came as a real gift. It has been an incredible 5.5 years, and I always say it's the lifeline the universe threw me. When I was in a really bad patch, it's the lifeline that I got, and I grabbed it with both hands.
Universe opens more doors.
Yes.
But tell me, whilst this was a generation where we have grown with all the mythology and the books around Amar Chitra Katha, and we were reading to the changes, because today bookstores are closing. People don't want to really, everything is available online. The content has changed. There are short form, long form, reels, people are scrolling. We are talking to a very different generation with the Gen Alpha and the millennials or the Gen Zs. So and I know, Preeti, that you made Amar Chitra Katha from a traditional to a digital first, turned around. But was it easy? Because there will be people who are holding the roots, and you really are now challenging the norms.
Right.
So how did you break that? Was it easy for you to do?
I don't think anything has been broken. The beauty of Amar Chitra Katha is that it's a 58-year-old brand, and there is some very deep stickiness about that brand, right? So it has endured. It has gone through. I always joke when we have team meetings and we are facing any kind of challenges or crisis. I always say this is a brand which has gone through 2 wars, a pandemic, a fire in the building which destroyed everything, right? So this company has gone through multiple ownership changes, multiple management changes. It survived a lot, and it's still standing,
and
right?
What is the reason? It's the passion. Whose passion is carrying?
No, I think the importance, the essence and the soul is stories, right? It's the storytelling, which is, India has a 5,000-year tradition of storytelling, right? And this is perhaps one of the few brands which holds all those stories together. There are so many stories which we have in our catalog, which are stories of history or mythology, but they are not captured anywhere. You won't find a single other book about that character.
Oh.
Right? Like Ulupi or Kannagi. Very few books, or almost no books. You might not have heard about them, and they're there in our catalog. So that's the only connection to that story that you have. Or with Tinkle, the work we do with Shambhu and Supandi, these characters have also endured. So we didn't need to break anything, but yes, there was definitely a case for reinvention, for positioning it differently, for getting into different channels of distribution, for looking at digital distribution in a big way, for also looking at the way the content is presented, whether it's the themes you pick, whether it's the art style. So all that And a lot of that reinvention had started happening even before I joined. So I don't want to take the credit for it, right? We have some amazing people. Reena Puri, who's our executive editor, she's been around for like more than 35 years in the company. She was chosen by Uncle Pai. She took over after him as the editor. Savio Mascarenas is our group art director. He's been around for 30 plus years as well. So these are the living legends, right, in the company, who have continued that the craft and the way the comics are made still remains very true to its core, to its original essence. But what has changed now is that, of course, our apps became, very digital apps became very, very successful, allowed us to go global in a very short period of time.
Interesting. So people back who are gone are connected to
so the
roots.
Indian diaspora anyway has so much anxiety about their kids not having connection with India. So that helped us tremendously because Amar Chitra Katha as a brand, they know him instantly, right?
Correct.
So, we've had parents buying the Amar Chitra Katha digital subscription as return gifts in the US. So we had a transaction recently.
It's a whole new insight on a market,
$649 single transaction. I'm like, ye hai kya? Why is somebody spending $600? It's buying 5 subscriptions for a birthday return gift, So very interesting, a digital subscription as a return gift. So that has helped a lot. And then, of course, we decided to also be very active going transmedia. So whether it is digital, whether it is audio stories, whether it is animation, it's merch, so apparel and back to school, it's licensing in different ways, it's board games and card games, it's looking at
really expanded.
So just going transmedia, right? Or looking at even different forms of books. Like, so we do only comics, but there is another audience that reads early chapter books, which is a long form. So we've done co-publishing with HarperCollins, with Penguin, with Rupa, where they take the original source from Amar Chitra Katha, but it's a different format of book, which they publish and distribute. That entire transmedia approach really opened up the multiple doorways and multiple pathways. And at the heart of it is the logic that, who are we? Are we publishers of books? No, we are storytellers. We are content creators. Let the consumer choose in which medium or which form they want to consume the story.
So tell me, did you guys now think of making into a web series? Or I remember you talking about taking content into either a big screen or OTT.
So it is happening. We have, in fact, signed a deal with Applause Entertainment, Aditya Birla Group company, and they are going to, they have licensed the entire ACK catalog. They're working right now on the production is going on. So very soon you'll see
it on the OTT?
OTT or on your TV. And same
More
with
power to you.
With Zebu Animation, which is a studio in Bangalore. They have licensed Wingstar and Supandi. So those shows will be coming out as well. And I just want to address this point you made about bookstores closing down and children not reading. And I feel somewhere that's also a little bit of an urban myth that children are not reading.
Okay.
Because actually what we are seeing, number one is, let's talk of the data, right? We sell about 4 million copies in print every year. So if 4 million copies are being bought, someone is reading them. It's not being used to line the shelves. We have an almost equal number of digital readers, right? And the readership on a physical copy is 2.5x, right? Because a lot of these books go into libraries where it's read by maybe 200 children.
Correct.
Or if it goes to a home, there are siblings or there may be other people reading as well. So 2.5x is a good number of readership.
The readership.
Right? So definitely 10 to 12 million people are reading only Amar Chitra Katha physical books. Plus we have an equal number reading digital. And that number is growing. So the revenue is growing not just on the back of increasing prices, but on the basis of number of copies and readership growing. Parents today have an understanding of the importance of reading. Plus they have more disposable income, and they have options. When we were kids, there were very limited options on what you could buy. Plus it was a middle class, we didn't have that much money. Nobody had that kind of. But now parents have disposable income. So there is an understanding, long way to go, but they are picking up books. Schools are promoting books. So I'm finding literature festivals happening in schools, individual schools. Some school in Ludhiana, some school invited us from Coimbatore. And, we're very particular about travel costs in the company. So I said, no, it's, we wouldn't be able to send people. No, we'll pay for it. So ready to pay for flight tickets, for hotel stays, for our team to travel and come
are promoting a lot.
Schools are promoting a lot, and education is booming as a sector. So I think that reading is definitely not dead. It is difficult in the sense there is a lot of different options that as content creators we are competing with the reels, we are competing with YouTube, with all of that.
But who would have thought of that?
But it's a challenge, but it is growing.
But amazing. So you have 4 million copies. You have equally digital, readers.
Yeah.
So any brand out there who want to advertise, and I don't know if you are.
We do. Yes.
It must be amazing because that's the kind of reach that you
Yes,
have. And
yes.
yeah, thanks for breaking this myth, Preeti.
Yeah.
But coming from ACK, now that you've done some really interesting, now I want to talk to you as a woman, because women in leadership roles and your journey. How has that been? Because most of the time in the boardrooms, when you are alone, and I have equally faced that, and we don't smoke, we don't drink, so you really feel outcasted, and
Yeah.
really to make your presence felt to
Yeah.
begin with, and then obviously then does that I mean, have you gone through those kind of experiences?
I have. I think, first of all, people should stop smoking. It's really bad for health, So let's just send a no smoking, protect your family and take care of your health message out there. But yeah, early in my career, I discovered that you would have a meeting in a conference room and you would have some kind of, we would say, okay, let's think about it and let's come back and reconvene and make the decision at a later. So you've just discussed it. And then the guys go out for a smoke. And then the decision is made on that 15-minute smoke break, And you're like, hello, I'm supposed to be part of that decision, right? So, yes, these things happen and they still happen. Luckily for me, I think I've been fortunate. I've had even all the male bosses I've had have been incredible, right? Right from Sriram at Crossword, who was a real visionary and whom I learned so much about retail from, to Ved Prakash Arya at Globus, who used to treat me like he used to say, oh, my officer on special duty. Like whenever there is a problem, send Preeti in 3 months assignment in the sari department, 3 months in the sari department, then 3 months manage the denims and kids department, that kind of thing, right?
Yes.
Do operations for 3 months. So him, Damodar Mal at the Future Group, Mr. Biani himself. I've never been made to feel that I'm a woman and I need to be treated differently, right? That conversation somehow has never happened. So that way I've been very fortunate. But of course, in the world, it would be a lie to say that, oh, it's equal opportunity. It's not.
No, it's not.
It's much harder. It's much harder. I'll give you an example of very recently, we were taking part in setting up a pop-up store at a mall in Delhi. And Damini heads our marketing and she was there with her team. And you know how it is, right? These pop-up things. Yeah. You get the space only the previous evening or late, like 8 o'clock.
Yes.
And then you have to work through the night to set it up. And then you have to be ready the next morning to open. And she was all set. Her team was there. They had the plans. They had contractors, everything. At 8 o'clock, she calls me panic-stricken that the mall says that women are not allowed to be in the mall after 10 o'clock at night.
Oh.
So she has to leave. So she's like... It's very upsetting.
Provide safety,
it's a mall's job. They should provide the safety. This is a rule. They can't have any women in the mall after 10 p.m. And they have not provided for security. So she has to leave and she is managing the entire night on a video call.
Wow.
Supervising the whole setup on a video call. But because of her dedication, her devotion, it gets done. But men don't even realize the small things and the large things that women have to experience, right? Whether it is... childcare and that whole experience of becoming a mother and it's biology and what the child needs is the mother. But it's hard. It's hard for women. I mean, there was a guy in our office who recently had a baby and 3 days later he was beaming back in office with his box of mithai, right? And I'm thinking that his wife's life has changed forever.
Yes, of
She's
course.
had to quit her job. She's at home. She's dealing with nursing and, feeding and all those challenges. He's back at work and he's very happy. He's happy to support her, but it does fall on her lap, literally.
Yes.
So it is challenging. It is more hard, and But
do you believe that? So there's this constant one question that I get asked: that you think that women can have it all, or should they always, trade off something or compromise? Or
I have a problem with: would a man ever be asked this question?
I agree with you.
Yeah, so I don't even want to answer that question. That why should it be a choice I have to make?
Correct.
Right? Is a man ever questioned when you interview a male for a job, for a senior position? Do you ask him, what does your wife do? Or, what do your kids do? You don't.
Yes.
It's a woman who's made to answer all these questions, right?
So I remember in one of my interviews, and I write my last name, still my maiden name, right? I write Shah. And the HR guy kept insisting, but, why are you not having it as menon? And I said, listen, it doesn't matter. And I didn't take the job. I'm like,
Yeah, that's
if the HR head is going
is
to ask me that, what kind of an organization
Right.
am I getting? And I completely agree with you that why are we so, I always had this thing that I will not have a word called compromise in my dictionary.
100%.
For me, it's all about choice. So whether, my mother or anybody, that you have to, because we've been conditioned, women have to compromise, girls have to compromise. I said, don't put that word, because I don't agree to it. I'll make my choices, but compromise.
So I had you can, I don't know how much time you have, but I'll share a quick, share a quick story. This happened to me last year, in fact. The Apex industry event for the media entertainment industry. I don't think I've even told you the story at all, right? So the top industry event, it happens once a year. There's multiple, it happens at a 5-star, huge event, right? There's panel discussions and events and master classes and all that. I've spoken there before as well. I've spoken at a lot of industry events. They invited me.
Correct.
I accepted the invitation. One of the panels, I happened to see the list of speakers, and it was my ex-husband. And I didn't think anything about it because it's a professional event and we've been separated for 8 years now. It's been a long time. But just before the event, about 2 hours before the event, I was told by the organizers that we're sorry, but we can't let you go up on this panel.
Really?
Yes. So I said,
that
how can
ridiculous.
You say this 2 hours before the event? Because literally my name is published on all the schedules.
And I'm here.
I'm here. The company's social media handles have posted it. Your social media handles have posted it. So what is this? Like, why are you doing this? They took me aside into a separate room. The senior organizer came and spoke to me, and she said, look, if I let you go up, the orders have come from Delhi, and if I let you go up, I'll lose my job. So I said, I don't want anyone to lose their job over me. And then she says, I'm a divorced woman as well. I understand the challenges of being divorced. I said, this is ridiculous.
This is absolutely
So this
ridiculous.
is a personal matter, right? Somebody has a problem with me being, and you are orchestrating this whole thing, and it's always a woman who has to step down, right?
I also feel for women is a problem. We don't, come together and lean in, because if she's saying, what is this nonsense?
Nonsense, yeah. So then I said, like you're saying, we don't compromise. So I was supposed to be a part of multiple, events at that, multiple panels and sessions. So I said, look, you do what you have to do. I'll do what I have to do. I'll walk out. Absolutely. I'm not going to be a part of this, right? This is like, it's very humiliating. Absolutely. I've never been insulted like this. And the story has a happy ending because I was really very angry. I said, I can't let this slide. I can't accept it. No apology also came from them. Even 24 hours later, no apology. Like, it's fine. Right? Hota hai.
That does not accept.
So I actually wrote to the National Women's Commission. I wrote to the Maharashtra Women's Commission. I wrote to Commerce Ministry. I wrote to everyone. I said, I have nothing to be scared of. Let me just write.
Correct.
Let me at least do something, right? As a woman, you can't just let it slide.
Correct.
And as a CEO, if I have to go through this, what are other women going through? And the Maharashtra State Women's Commission picked it up. They called me. They sent a show cause notice to the organization. They had to hire a very top law firm to investigate the whole case.
Wow.
Then a lot of formal apologies. I said, okay, I can go on social media and make a big mess, make a big fuss about it. But no, it has to change
So
at a systemic level. It has to change.
100%.
What are the processes you're following? What is sensitization that you're doing? Why is it that it's assumed that the woman will step down or the woman will be asked to step down? This is the problem, right? So it took me 6 months to get the resolution and closure.
You could have asked the person to step down, right? I agree.
So I went through the 6 months to get the resolution and closure, but I'm glad that I did that because it's important that if I have reached at some position in life, I owe that to other junior women, right? Women who are in their 20s and 30s who are trying to build a professional life for themselves. If I am at 50, I'm here. It's my job to make it easier for them in some way.
Absolutely, Preeti, and I absolutely, I sort of, agree with you in the sense I relate with this because this is what even I've started this podcast or this, conversations and stories for. So I'll give you another thing like this. I had recent experience with IIM Ahmedabad. Now imagine an institute of this, like this kind of a name in India. It's a face for India in education. There is a psychology and leadership course, and I said I want to reinvent myself. I want to get into psychology and leadership, become a super coach. I sort of connected with them. That lady said it is ask me your query. So I told them if I want to do this, can I become a coach and all? So we have an age this thing. I said okay, so you cannot join because this is only up to 45 years. I said I am just 49. So what is this? 45, 49, I'm not asking to join in a 15-year-old. And how is education? I have the
Yeah.
hunger, I have the money, you are, I am A.
In fact, you'd be a much better coach.
I will be much
because
better.
of your experience,
and
right?
what will I bring in, the value that I'll bring? How can
Right.
you decide that I cannot? So I really lost it. I said, if this is what an education institute has to think, then what else do we have in India? So of course I wrote to the chair. I said, you're a woman and you're telling me this.
Yeah.
You have no business to run. And this is, I am Ahmedabad. So
Yeah.
I completely get you. But Preeti, coming to the episode, that what you spoke about your experience, and I know you've been really you've really been on social talking about your divorce and how it went, and I have seen you otherwise. I've seen you in your marriage days. We've sort of been pregnant together.
Yeah,
You've really
I
seen
know.
things
Yeah.
together, and and I know that you married your you always say that we all were childhood sweethearts.
That's
so it's
right.
been a
That's right.
long journey
Yes.
with a person.
Yes.
And you have dreams and you build, and suddenly now you guys have parted ways, and it's been a difficult journey from what I've always heard from you.
Yeah.
How have you managed it? Because this is not easy.
Yeah. So yeah, it won't lie and say it was easy, because we were together from the ages of 18 to 42. And that's pretty much your entire adult life,
Yeah,
right? I mean, that's the
absolutely.
age when you actually grew up together and spent a lifetime together. So it's very hard. It's very hard to disconnect and do. But I really believe that it has to be a conscious choice that one makes. Just because there is a history does not necessitate a future, right? The future is something you have to choose.
And not many can
Yeah.
say this, Preeti.
So this whole sunk cost fallacy that I have invested so much time already, hence I need to be in this situation. You don't, right? Because I'm a Buddhist, I'm a practicing Buddhist, and we believe that human life is very, very precious.
Nice,
right?
true.
It's after
It's
a
a
lot
gift.
of after a lot of karmic cycles that you get to be born as a human, and you need to make the most of that and really live your best life. We believe in this concept of 10 worlds, which is the lower level worlds, which are hell, hunger, anger, greed, foolishness,
Okay.
and then you keep rising up to learning and realization, to bodhisattva, to Buddhahood, which is the
Spiritual
enlightenment. Yeah.
Enlightenment. Yes.
So you need to try and always move your life in a direction that you can move towards the higher worlds and get out of this lower life states. So it's something that it was a difficult decision, but I knew that it was the right decision. Because when you're at a crossroads and there are two paths, it was a space where I knew that this path of leaving that relationship meant a life of uncertainty. You
Absolutely.
don't know what is in the future. There is a future you thought you were going to have.
Correct.
That future is gone. This is this total uncertainty. It's that choice. But on this side, there is certainty. I know how it's going, right? And I know how I'm feeling. And I know that this is, it's not going to change. So do I choose certainty, a certain sadness or a certain loneliness over an uncertain future? Because uncertainty has opportunity.
Correct.
It could go really well
could go.
as well. It could go both ways. So why not choose that unknown, choose that uncertainty, choose yourself. So yeah,
Choose yourself is a
and
very
divorce
strong.
is very, very difficult, especially in our society, because we have
a lot of taboo.
Yeah, a lot of taboo. You don't want, and obviously nobody wants to go through it, right? You do want to make it work, but when there is no other choice available, and you feel that this is the only way left, you embrace it, and you do it. You go through it with as much dignity and as much self-respect as possible, and protect your children.
But then how is in that journey, how is the child taking along, and is
Yeah.
co-parenting even possible after that?
Yeah, so luckily for me, my son has grown up to be an amazing child. So I think single parenting it has its downs, of course. It's a very difficult journey, especially when the child is young.
Correct.
I think the scariest moments for me have been when the child is sick. It's 2 a.m., he's burning up with fever, you're alone,
Yeah.
right? You can't even sleep because you have to keep, there's nobody else to cover up for you, and you've got to make sure that you're checking the temperature every 20 minutes or whatever. It's very, very difficult moments. But at the same time, it's got a lot of benefits, right? Because the child and you develop such a close bond. so much of mutual respect. The child also knows that there is nowhere else to go, like the buck stops here, right? So you start relying on each other. You become a team. You become a team. There is a lot of understanding, a lot of open communication. And my son has just been an amazing team member, I would say.
Amazing support also.
Yeah,
to you,
yeah,
right?
yeah. We've navigated the journey very beautifully together, and I've always been very honest with him. So I've never tried to be superwoman in front of him. He's watched me cry. He's watched me break down. I think it's important for him to see this is a human condition, right?
Correct.
You go through. Nobody's going to be happy all the time in life. You are going to go ups and downs, and it's important for children to see that, and more importantly, for him to see you picking yourself up again. That okay, she can be a mess and she can cry and like we have a breakdown, and then 2 hours later, she splashed water on her face and she's cooking a meal for us in the kitchen.
And she's back to being the mom.
And she's back to being the mom, right? And that's something the child learns, that, you learn how to fight back, and you learn resilience. And it's okay to be down, but then you can always lift yourself up again.
So what would you then advise? You've seen childhood, marrying your childhood sweetheart, being for so many years together. You've seen the other side of life now. How has it been for you at work? Because then I have, met a lot of my women colleagues where at work it is not easy, because a lot of people sort of, look down. The career choices are not always given to you, because then we have this, pseudo behavior in our some of the organizations where they want the people at the helm, the CEOs, to be having it's a happy married CEO and things like that.
Yeah, but that's just so regressive, right?
It's regressive, right? So I've heard this story.
Yeah.
So have you been through anything like that?
No, fortunately for me, in fact, when the opportunity for Amar Chitra Katha came up at the very beginning, at the first few rounds of interviews and discussions, I told them that, look, I'm a single mom now and my son is just 10, right? He was just 10 at the time. And so if the work culture in your organization is that people working till 10, 11 o'clock at night, or, the real meetings start after 7, or there's extensive traveling involved, I can't do this job. I was very upfront. Yeah, I said, I can't do it. I'm a single mom. I will have to leave at a particular time to be there for my kid. I will not do... So for the longest time, till at least 2 years ago, till he was... Of course, pandemic was there for 2 years. But
Correct.
Till he was 13, 14, I did not do any overnight trips. So even a trip to Kolkata or to Chennai or whatever, it would be a day trip. It would be end up being a 20-hour day, because you wake up to take that,
so it's a long,
that crazy 6 a.m., 5 a.m. flight, and by the time you come back, it's midnight or it's 1 a.m. But I wanted to do that for him. I did not want to leave him at night, or I would take him with me. We went to the US to Comic-Con in 2023, and he had his vacations at that time. I said, come, so he came with us for 15 days and he helped us. So I think the board was very understanding, and they said, look, we want the results.
Nice.
Right? That's what matters. You do it the way you want to do it. And I think that's what matters. And the advice to anyone encountering any kind of challenges about in this manner, in this respect, should just focus on your work. Be so good at your work that your work speaks for itself. That shines out. And then everything else just pales in comparison.
No, amazing, Preeti. So now if you have to look back and, today's generation where they're sailing in all sorts of ships, they have commitment issues and situationship and I don't know what all, and living in is very common. But if you had to look back and now give an advice to a young Preeti on relationship, on marriage specifically, what would it be?
So my one advice would be, don't get married until you're 30. I think 30 is a good age to get married.
Yeah, I agree.
Getting married I was just 24 when I was married. I think 24 is a very young age, right? You've not really seen life. You've just about completed your education.
Yeah.
You need to go out to work, travel, meet different kinds of people. Find yourself and who you are as a human being before you commit to a lifelong, relationship with one human being. So I think the minimum age for marriage should be 30. For both men and women, not just for women. It should be, don't get married before you're 30.
But you still believe in the institution of marriage?
Of course I do. Marriage I definitely believe in it. And I also, somebody was asking me about, you have a failed marriage. I said, no, correction. It's not a failed marriage. It's a successful marriage, right? It's just a marriage that ran its course.
Correct.
Some things run their course. And
That I agree.
if you do if you take a math exam, right? And you have a problem to solve, you'll have 25 or 20 steps and there's a final answer. The final answer is wrong, you will still get, and the steps were right. You
Correct.
will still get marks for that question.
Well, who's decided, right, that marriage
So-
have to be lifelong, saat janam, and all that was some
So I feel
conditioning.
whether it is marriage or situationship
Any-
or relationship, whatever, I think it should be a conscious choice. You should not feel compelled to be in any situation because you feel, oh, this is what is expected of me by my family, by my society, by whatever. It should be a conscious choice that this is what I choose for my life. And as long as you're okay with your choices, it really doesn't matter.
And
We pay far too much attention to what other people, how they are judging us, how they are viewing us, what are they saying. It really doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
Absolutely.
Everybody has their own problems to deal with. Like really,
Yes.
don't think that they are spending so much time thinking about you.
Absolutely. I think this is where today's generation, because they live on social media and everybody wants to show everything which is hunky-dory, the best
Yeah.
photographs
Yeah.
the best smiles. But in reality is different. And
That's
I think
right.
that acceptance is very
Yeah.
important, and
Yeah.
not live a social, real life.
Right. And I feel that, as we grow and evolve through life, Darshana, I'm who Preeti was at 20 and who I was at 30 and 40 and 50. I have evolved. We all grow,
Of course,
right?
of course.
And sometimes the partner you have with you, you both grow together and you grow in the same direction. Sometimes you grow in different directions,
Correct.
right? So at every phase you need a different kind of support because you're a different person.
Yes.
Sometimes that same person is able to provide that to you and you're able to provide that to them and you can grow together, and sometimes you grow in different directions. And that relationship or that partnership doesn't work anymore. And that's fine, right?
And that's in everything, right? That's also in business. That's at
That's
work.
right. That's right. So why put so much pressure on, on no matter what, right? And people I know there are a lot of women I know even personally who are in horrible marriages. They're so unhappy. But they will not leave. They will never leave.
Yes, and that's where I wanted to bring this message.
Whether it is a financial independence issue in many cases, it's fear, it's what happens to my life afterwards.
Correct.
How do I
lot of uncertainty.
Uncertainty. How do I cope with uncertainty? How do I navigate life? But people putting up with a lot of, in fact, they say that, the divorce rates in India are so much higher than they were in our parents' generations. It's not because they had better marriages. It's just that the women didn't have an out.
Compromise.
Yeah, compromise, that famous word. It's just that
Yes.
more women now are independent, are financially independent, are confident enough to say that, look, I can do this. I don't have to be in an environment, in a situation which makes me so unhappy.
Preeti, you spoke about vulnerability, and I wanted to touch upon that as a CEO, and where you have to really keep up the face, and when things
Yeah.
are up or down, you have to really show that face. But do you believe that a CEO is also allowed to be vulnerable in front of the team? Do you do that?
Yeah, I think vulnerability actually is a sign of strength, right? When you're able to show vulnerability, it makes people feel far more connected to you. They understand the situation or the issues or the problems much, much more. So yeah, I'm whenever we're going through, and it's business, right? It goes through its cycles, it goes through ups and downs. We've had a lot of challenges, and I've always shared that, shared my vulnerability. I've shared that I'm very stressed about this. I don't know how it's going to happen. Do you all have any ideas?
Yeah, because you're not expected to have all answers.
I don't have all the answers. Nobody in the world knows everything. Nobody knows everything. So I know certain things. Maybe somebody else has a better idea on how to deal with that issue. So being honest, being open, sharing how you feel makes everyone feel more bonded, more connected. I think in our society, it's sad that, anger as an emotion is very accepted.
Correct.
So if somebody screams and shouts in an office, if somebody curses, uses bad language and says, what's going on, that's fine. Nobody has a problem with that. But if somebody were to actually be upset or cry or, God forbid, tears roll down somebody's cheeks, that would be a sign of weakness.
It's sad, no?
It is sad.
And
It is
women
sad.
get classified there. One belief you once held strongly but later changed your mind about?
Marriage is for life.
I agree. What's your definition of success in one word?
I think happiness or contentment is my definition of success, because it's
So it's not about doubling my business, this, that. So this is what people are usually chasing.
yeah.
So it's
So there is this concept of, hedonistic adaptation, which I read about. And hedonistic adaptation is that, you decide that, I need to have this kind of income or this car or this kind of home, and that's the life I want, right? So you work really, really hard and do everything possible. It takes you maybe 5 years, 10 years, and you get there. You get that house, you get the car, you get that bank balance. But the point is that your mind and your life adjusts very quickly to it.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So within a few days, weeks, months, suddenly that is your life. Now, again, you create a new level. It's never ending.
Correct.
It's never ending because, you will drive yourself mad going for those goals, and then eventually you'll just get exhausted. So I feel that for me, success is about contentment, is about happiness, is about value addition. Wherever I work, whatever I do, to add that value to the brand, to the people I work with, to the team, that whenever I have to leave that place, it's in a much better position and a much better condition than it was when I joined. That's my value addition, and that's
It has Preeti written all over.
not necessarily Preeti, but I feel contentment.
Yes.
That I gave it my best. I
True.
gave it my best, and I added some value, whether it is small, big, whatever. I added some value to it, and I think that's what drives me, honestly.
Nice. So Preeti, people know you as a CEO of Amar Chitra Katha. You are a mother of a 15-year-old. You said you love traveling. There's many sides of Preeti out there. What are those things that nobody knows?
I'm not telling those.
Anything that is, what makes Preeti really a woman she is?
I don't think there's anything that I keep. Like, I'm a very open person, right? So I share very openly. I've never hidden anything about my life. It's really like that open book. But I think that I come across as always a very positive, chirpy, bubbly person full of life, which I am. But I also have really down days, and I've also gone through
it's human.
really dark phases, and and that's fine. It might be difficult to imagine, but I think I've gone through that, and I think everybody goes through that.
So if Preeti was a book, which was that book? What would the title be?
Oh, I don't know. I guess Keep Walking.
Keep Walking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you were a Bollywood movie?
If I were a Bollywood movie, that's a tough one. You have any suggestions?
Yeah, well, I have to think. But that Meg Ryan wala movie was which?
That was You've Got Mail. Yeah.
You Got Mail.
Yeah. I guess Kal Ho Na Ho, could be a good title.
I
because,
agree. Kal Ho Na is an interesting title, yes.
Yeah.
Preeti, so women, this whole, and I'm a marketer and I equally am guilty and, of creating this whole day called Women's Day. And now every year around 8th of March, there's this conversation, women don't need a day, they need a month, they need lifetime, they need every day. What is your, the thoughts over there?
So I think
what women want.
I think there are a lot of women's issues, a lot of challenges. We live in a country where female feticide, female infanticide still happen, right? If you look at the ratio between male and female children, it's not well balanced, right? This is the reality of the country. We cannot forget those things. And there are in every strata of society, whether it is rural women, whether it is urban women, whether it is homemakers or it is teachers or it's corporate life, women do face challenges, and there are real issues which need to be addressed. So I think Women's Day or any day, if there is a way to focus on those issues and bring those out, I think it's good. It troubles me to see it becoming like this thing where it's all about having a pink cocktail and this whole everything is pink, and you have all these beauty brands giving you like 20% off because it's your day. I think that kind of becomes superficial and it loses. But I'm not against the concept of like having Teachers' Day. It's nice to have that one day where you focus, that, okay, this is about my teacher, and you acknowledge and you have gratitude for the teacher's role in your life. Or a Doctor's Day, and
correct.
Nothing wrong with having...
I really like it because you're really bringing in the other side. Otherwise, I keep hearing that why should we have a day and, every other same random, but at the same time, very valid that it should be real issues. Are we really bringing that change and not doing this wellness and spa and pink and all this? No, that's not needed because then you are really keeping all the real issues under the carpet. Awesome. So, Preeti, we are going to play this rapid fire and instant
Ouch.
answers, no thinking.
Okay.
Just let's know, Preeti, on the
Unscripted.
absolutely on the go. What's a daily habit that has helped you in your career?
I think daily habit that's helped me in life is my practice of chanting and meditation every day. It's a great emotional and spiritual anchor.
Nice. It's your starting your day
Yeah.
with gratitude and chanting. What's a leadership trait you admire the most in others?
I think any leader who is able to align a large group of people together towards a common goal, it's always very inspiring to watch that.
Yeah, they're having a common purpose. And if you could master any new skill overnight, what it would be?
Master a new skill overnight. Gosh, I'll have to think about that.
Maybe also around your health, wellness.
Yeah.
pickleball.
I would love to be able to pick up a sport and become very good at it.
Yeah, lately
thank
this
you.
pickleball. Even
Yes.
I want to try that.
Yeah.
Let's try together.
Okay.
I don't know pickleball.
Sounds good.
How will you define yourself in 3 words?
Okay. So I'd say positive, I'd say creative, and empathy.
Awesome, Preeti. And any last words you want to tell me? Because I've just started this new show called the Darshana Show. So anything that you want to tell me? How did you enjoy?
Darshana, we, I think, worked together from 2004 to 2008, right? So about 4 years, almost 4 to 5 years.
Yes.
It was such a joy to work with you then. And it is such a joy and so lovely to see where you have gone in your career, where you have reached, all the things that you have achieved. It's a matter of great personal pride.
Thank you.
I feel very, very, very happy to see where you are. And I'm just wishing you all the best. And I hope your show is also a huge success and you get lots of inspiring guests and inspire your viewers and listeners.
Thank you so much and more power to you, Preeti.
Thank you so much.